Let's talk about air-to-air radar contact aspect in the F-15E Strike Eagle. I don't have this module yet. I have not been gifted a trial of it. I'm eagerly awaiting it being released into early access so I can get my hands on it. This is an extremely specific video on a specific subject that I don't think is going to be that confusing for most people, but I do foresee some people having questions about it. Since I don't actually have this module, I'm going to be referencing Razbam's video, which was the specific video is APG 70 Part 2 track modes, and Notso or Nutso. I'm not sure which it is, but did a good job of explaining this in the video at timestamp 2 minutes and 44 seconds. So a link to that specific part of that specific video will be in the description. That'll take you right to it where he explains it. Like I said, I don't think this is overly complex, so this video will be quick, but some people may want to see an illustration of this, and hopefully this will help it make more sense. In the Strike Eagle, once you lock a target, the radar will start giving you more information about their speed aspect and the target heading. This is all above the radar scope on the left side of the screen. It's just under push button 19 and push button 20, which are the top left buttons on that MPD. The first number is their true airspeed, the second is the aspect, which is what we'll be talking about, and the third is their heading. So we're just talking about the aspect, and it can range from T for tail through either L for left or R for right to H for hot. So it's going to go T through left or right to H. Okay, or H through left or right to T, depending on which way the target is turning. If the Bandit is in a left or right aspect, the aspect will be an L or an R followed by a number. The number represents the angle from the reverse line of sight to your ship. What this means is if their line of sight to you is thought of as 180 degrees, we call that hot. The reverse of that would be 0 degrees, and we call it tail. And as they show you one side of their aircraft or the other, the F-15 systems are going to tell you which side they are showing you and what that angle is in tens of degrees. So that's what the numbers represent. Okay, so again, if the aircraft is pointed directly away from their line of sight to you, then they are in a tail aspect. They're headed directly away from you. That's T or tail aspect. If they turn directly on their line of sight to you, their heading is equal to their line of sight to you. That is H or hot. Okay. If they turn to the left, let's say 40 degrees from their line of sight, then they are on an L14, or that's 140 degrees away from their reverse line of sight. Now, I need to point out that even if they are on the right side of your aircraft, they could still have a left aspect because they're showing you the left side of their aircraft. So it's better to think of it as which side of their aircraft they are showing you, not necessarily which side of you they are headed to. Now, one more example. If the aircraft is beaming you, they're showing you the right side and they are exactly 90 degrees away from their line of sight to you, that would be an R9 aspect, just to try to help make that make sense. Now, I need to drive home the point that the aircraft doesn't have to be directly in front of you. This is all based on their line of sight to you. Are they headed directly to you, directly away from you, or which way are they headed? This is very important because this is not a relative heading to you. I used to think of it as a relative heading to you, but it's not. It's based on their line of sight. So if they are off to your right 30 degrees and they are pointed directly at you, that is hot because that's their line of sight to you. Okay, and in the F-15, it's going to work really well with that radar scope, because if they're 30 degrees headed right at you, in the radar scope, they're going to be pointed at you, but they're going to be coming straight down the scope because they're 30 degrees. And as you turn, if they stay pointed at you, they're still going to be hot, even though their symbol on the radar is going to drift from one side of your scope to the other as you turn through them. If they're still pointed directly at you, they are a hot aspect. And if they're maneuvering away from you, they're going to be a left or right aspect, no matter which side of the aircraft, of your aircraft they are on. So I hope that makes sense. I hope these illustrations make sense. And happy flying.